Happy to see you all on the call, and I will be sharing my screen right away. Hope you see it, right? Yep, I guess so. Lena, give me a nod.
Yes, we can
That's
see you.
cool. Yep. So the main topic for today's session is how basically transfer with your company from B2C to B2B2C and ultimately selling your products to corporates. And I want to start not yet with intro, but with the question here, guys. And I will need your activity in the chat. If you could ever acquire any unusual skill or whatsoever in one day, please let me know what would you choose. I can share what I think here. So in 2024, it was a very active year for me in terms of traveling, and I really traveled a lot. I actually counted the number of cities I've been to, and it was around 20. And I got to know that I was pretty tired of it. And I'm meaning the cities where I've been just once, but actually in many cities I've been twice, three times, and so on and so forth. And at the end of 2024, I did the traditional rounds of reviewing all Harry Potter movies. And do you remember that they have this flu powder that they used for traveling to any other direction? So I would like to have the skill and I would like to have this powder to travel to whatever place in the world. What about you guys? Sales, business development. Yeah, it makes sense. Mind reading. This is essential, especially if you work in the business development area. No need to sleep. Yeah, I agree. I'd also like to have one. Tech, coding, love. Cool. Okay, guys. So I will be happy to know that one day you will master this skill. Drop me a line if it is possible. So we are proceeding with the intro, and so the agenda will be like that for today. We will have the 5-minute intro, then the main part of the transition from B2C to B2B2C. And I also prepared one bonus for you, and I guess it will be very helpful. And we will also have the time for Q&A session. So once you have any question throughout the presentation, please drop your question into the chat box, and we will come to this a bit later, closer to the end, because maybe during the session, some of your questions will be already answered. And I want to start with the intro. So my name is Anna Sultanova. I currently work as the partnership project lead at Flo. It means that I am responsible for the full cycle of any kind of commercial partnerships we have in the company. And my overall background is more than 10 years in marketing/business development, project management, and sales. Originally, when I was in the fifth grade, I wanted to become a translator and interpreter. I have the huge passion to languages, maybe because I really fail in mathematics, physics, and all other things, but I really do love languages, and Duolingo is one of my favorite apps, by the way. And I thought that I like to speak to people. I like to make sure that the communication happens. But when you're a translator, and inevitably I went to the university and became the translator and interpreter in English and German, I understood that it is not entirely what I want, because when the communication happens and you are the translator, you are not directly involved in communication. You just the means of communication. You make sure that you translate from language A to language B and vice versa. And I want to be the person who creates this communication and can directly influence the outcome. So After the university, I worked as the translator for a super short time. And then I decided to shift to communication to make sure that I can benefit from it and people can benefit from it. And I love it so much. And I have experience in B2C, in B2B, B2B2C naturally, and B2G, which is business to government. And I want to say that B2B is really my favorite, because when you work in B2C, you are trying to find, the key to the heart of each end user. But when you work in B2B, you need to influence just one person to influence millions of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people. Again, depends on your business. So this is why I have a lot to say about B2B, and I will be happy to share with you all the knowledge I have, because throughout these 10 years, believe me, guys, I did lots of mistakes. And I do believe that with certain knowledge, I could actually not make these mistakes. So I hope that I will give you all the needed information for you today, how to convert your business from B2C to B2B, namely B2B2C. And here we go. So today we will be talking about this transition, and I will be sharing with you the main stages of the framework and also covering the challenges and also the success factors here. The first stage that I think is super important, it is one of the most important stages here, is the stage of reflection. And during the stage of reflection, you need to think about basically what you have before you enter the new market for you. And B2B is the new market for you. And even though you have the current product, it should be changed in a way to be the perfect market fit for the B2B market. So you need to think about what you have. What is your current offering for your B2C users? What's your target market? Target market for B2C and B2B, they can drastically differ. So it also makes sense to think about it. What are your business goals? Basically, why are you doing? What aims, what goals do you have? And even it's important to think about the operational readiness, the financial part of things, and finally the go-to-market strategies, and also to all the time remember about the risks and challenges that you may face. So coming to the current offering, here I posted the main questions that you need to ask to yourself as a business, and you do not need to jot down everything that you see on the slides, because Lena will share with you the materials. Let's come back to the current offering. So the first thing that you need to think about is what are the core features? What are the propositions of your current product? Because as I mentioned before, the value proposition for a B2C market differs a lot versus B2B markets. Who are your primary users, and what kind of problems they face, and how your product help them actually. How your product is unique for B2C market, at least, because if we're speaking about B2B2C sphere, we still need to think about this last C, the end user. Are your current clients, users, satisfied with the product that you have? And also, what feedback did you receive previously from the users? Because the feedback, this is something that can help you, can be basically the gateway for any improvement that you have. Moving to the target market. So, okay, so you have the current offering, then you need to think about who is your audience. And the first question here is basically, who are your B2C clients, B2B2C clients? Because depending on your industry, they can be different, like employers, for instance, or insurance company, or clinics, or again, whatsoever, huge banks, etc., etc. The next question that you need to ask yourself, what do your clients care most? And of course, this would be cost savings for sure, but there are multiple other things that you need to think about and also keep them in your field of attention, like user engagement or compliance with something. Again, this could be different and just apply to your sphere. Are there any challenges and gaps? in the market, and how your product can actually fill these gaps. And finally, what are your competitors? And speaking about competitors, I want to mention that, for instance, if you have the app that that is sort of the virtual gym, for instance, and you have the workouts for your users. If we speak about the competitors, you need to think like, okay, I will be looking for the apps that have something similar. We have workouts, another app has workouts, but I would like to suggest you to look at it a bit broader, because if we speak about the market of presents, for instance, the gifts, and it could be the iPhone, for instance, or it could be jewelry like Cartier or Tiffany. So in this situation, iPhone will be a direct competitor to Tiffany, even it's not that obvious. So again, think broadly. Who are your competitors? You need to know them. Then the business goals. Why are you doing this? What are the business goals you have when you enter the new market for you? Does it really align with your mission and vision, where you see yourself as a company in 5, 10 years and so on? And what are the metrics that will define your success? How will you understand that the launch was successful or it wasn't? So you need to have the certain health metrics for it, like adoption rates, revenue growth. Revenue growth is the key here for sure, but maybe you have something else. Again, think about the key metrics and also sub metrics. It's all important. Then the operational readiness. If we speak about the apps, and I know that the big fraction of you have apps, so do you have the needed technical infrastructure? Because if we speak about the apps for the B2C market, you just go to Apple Store, Play Market, and you can download any app that you have. But if we are speaking about the B2B2C market, then you need to think about how will you give away the premium subscription to massive amounts of users. Do you have everything you need to have this opportunity? And again, based on my experience, you need to have the certain technical infrastructure for this. Maybe you will need some integrations or any extra partnership to do so. And finally, are you able to handle the complexity dealing with support, for instance? If you have the certain rules in your company, how you answer to your clients, speaking about B2C clients, you also need to have the certain rules for B2B clients and B2B2C clients too. So the end users and also the businesses that you are about to work with. So you need to have this infrastructure too. And the financial consideration, we are coming to the point of money earning. So what is the ROI of this transition? And you need to create the price models. And again, they will differ whether this will be a subscription. If I speak about health industry, and if something can be reimbursed by insurance, this will be a different price. And you also need to think about it entering the new markets. Maybe you have the tiered subscription, like tier 1, tier 2. So you need to think about what will you put in your offering for the B2B market. And finally, we are coming to marketing. This is also what you need to know. How will you fund it? Because, you know, speaking about Flo being the number one playing in the female health market, we still need marketing for sure. And it is very delusional when you think that everyone knows you, but it doesn't work like that. And you need to have the proper marketing in place for sure, always. And the go-to-market strategy, speaking about the partnership and channels. So when I mentioned before, why do I love B2B, is that you can find this key to the heart of the partners. You need one person, and this person will influence hundreds of thousands of users. But also, if we speak about B2B, there are certain partnerships and also channel partnerships that can give you access to multiple decision makers. So it's also important when you want to scale, but you want, all of you want, of course. How do you how will you position your product to both the businesses and the end users? And it's very hard to find this proper balance, because you need to still think about your B2C users, because the end users will be using the product, but also the interest of those who are making the decision when you are reaching out to the B2B companies. And finally, what message will resonate with them? Moving further to risks and challenges, you need to be aware of all the potential risks of entering the B2B2C market. For instance, the first, and this is the most painful thing, is the definitely longer sales cycles. And it depends on the companies you reach out to. And if we're talking to the businesses starting from 1,000 employees or maybe 10,000, sometimes the sales cycle can be up to 2 years. And I think in reality it is like from 1 to 2 years, but it's a lot. And this is something that you need to think about in terms of ROI and scaling opportunities. How will you mitigate shift in focus to B2B? Because if you are not hiring the extra team who will be dealing with B2B, it means that the fraction of your team resources will be reallocated. And maybe the B2C users that you still have this business, if you're not entirely shifting to B2B, you will need to give your attention to this part of business as well. And finally, this is the bitter part, but you always need to think about plan B. What happens if we fail? How will we mitigate the situation? How will we wind down if it's needed? How we will go back to B2C? Or in case you face any challenges, so you need to have plan B, C, D, and so on and so forth. So it's better to be totally covered. Lots of questions, right? And the problem here, and I understand you wholeheartedly, that maybe by this time, when reading these slides, you understood that you do not have the answers to the majority of these questions. And it's okay, because if you have the B2C focus, it is it will be strange if you had all the knowledge on B2B, right? Because it's the new sphere for you. So no worries. And here what I want to share with you, basically the further stages. So right now this stage is called reflection, but I would also call this frustration, because this is something that you need to go through definitely. But again, it is possible to find the answers and move forward. And I will tell you what to do next. Next stage is market research. I would say the following is that the majority, roughly 80% of the questions being asked before, is possible to find via proper market research. I don't know why, but from what I see in different companies, they might neglect this stage, but this stage is essential. The thing here is that without market research, you are literally blind, if we're speaking about the new sphere for you. And it is possible that people start thinking that I have gut feeling, I have previous experience or something like that. And you need to be driven by data, by certain pieces of information that you will be using in your job. So the good thing here, and it's a very good practice, to add market research to any stage of your product development, regardless, we're speaking about B2C, B2B, B2 whatsoever. This is essential, this is crucial. There are different types of research here, and I will go through all of them one by one. The first one is the market overview. So overall, what sphere do you enter? What are the nuances you need to know? It is also about the general do's and don'ts, because in some spheres there are very certain regulatory nuances that you need to think about and you need to know. Because if you do not know something, you might, and do something wrongfully, you might get the litigation, and it's quite the unpleasant process. You need to know your competitors. And as I mentioned before, think about not only the direct competitors that align on the surface, but also about those who are not that obvious, but they exist. the channels to say to sale, I was about to say to sale to, but to scale, like the channel partnership, for instance. So once you have this information, so it means that you have the vision of the market. What is going on? Who makes money on what? Where can you find your own niche? Overall, how much money is there in this industry? So this is the essential part. I beg of you, do not skip it. And another options here, and you see that I put them a bit differently. So the first thing is secret shopping. Guys, just go to your competitors, pretend that you want to purchase their service, and take a look at the whole sales cycle. It gives you very great opportunity to take a look what is going on the market and what is the offering about. Moreover, when it comes to the go-to-market strategy and forming the sales team, the customer success team, you will get lots of insight. And moreover, you will have the basically ready-made emails, decks, and so on that you can be inspired by. So this is the very important thing. And again, not speaking about the today's topic, it is very important to do, even if you want to add the new product or service to your offering. You can you can become a secret shopper and take a look at the feature that you would like to add if you are working with some partner. So yeah, this is quite the eye-opening experience, and it is again essential for the market research. Then interviews with decision makers. You can you can sit and guess how to find this key to the hearts of the decision makers. But it's better to find the real decision maker from your industry, and you will know who are they because you will do the market overview, right? And you will have this brilliant opportunity to drag this person on the call as a kind of advising. And you can ask them, what is important for you? How do you come to your decisions? How do you find the balance between this and that? What are your current pains? How do you solve them? So again, it totally eliminates any guesswork, and it makes your offering more prepared to the new industry. And the last thing here, advisors. So if you have lack of knowledge in some sphere, for instance, you do not know how to make the efficient sales process or customer success, or even you have no clue on how to do all these analytical activities here, advising is the best opportunity that you can do. And this is really a very small investment because it can help you to get rid of any mistakes that you might do in the future. So, for instance, you can come to your competitor who offer something similar for B2B2C market. And of course, there is some ethical principles here. So you can go to the people who worked previously, so like ex-workers, and you can ask them, how did they manage to come to success? And again, it shouldn't be your direct competitor. You can use indirect competitors too. This is very helpful. And what I mentioned before, the majority of your questions that you asked yourself during this reflection stage will be answered with this important, crucial stage. So yeah, guys, market research, number one, it's extremely important. Then the next stage is that when you collected all the knowledge from all the spheres, from the research you did, from advisors, from everything, it's high time to create the action plan. And the deliverables of your action plan should be the following. There should be the certain financial documents, the timeline, and all the responsibilities. And also, if you need any tools at this certain point, maybe you're missing something crucial for the sales process, for instance, or for technical stuff, this is the right time to change something. So speaking about financial docs, there can be many of them. And the first, most important one is the business model, because this is, it gives you the understanding on what your product looks like for the B2B market. And this business model should contain the product maybe you have the part of your product sold for B2B, the audience, the pricing, and the potential conversion rates that you think will make sense. Then the budget list. So if business model tells you how to earn, budget list will tell you how to spend money, not waste, spend. Maybe you will need the tools or participate in events, thought leadership, advertising. Maybe you need to hire some extra people, full-time estimates or contractors. This is also something that you need to think about. And finally, you can make out of it the beautiful profit and loss estimation and to understand whether it makes sense for you to move further or not, because maybe not. So again, it depends, and you need to take financial docs seriously. Then, speaking about the timeline, I am the huge lover of Gantt chart. So this is the project management tool that basically your timeline. It contains of main tasks, milestones, responsibilities, dates, whatever. So visual indicators that the task is done. And I also prepared the way it looks like. So this is the type of timeline I usually work with on all of my projects. Not even work related, seriously, because if you want to do something, I don't know, in your life, speaking about whatever event, it is good to have the tool like that, because you have the very clear picture of what is happening with your project. Of course, you can use Jira, Asana, or any other tool. It's up to you. It depends on what your business have. But even though I have Jira, I still use this old school Gantt diagram, because this is something that helps me see it from the above. Yeah, also I created the sample timeline for you. It is like easy to use, ready to make, so you can take it and just copy paste it to your own documents. Then, speaking about tools, we need to do the proper inventory of everything you have or might have. For instance, maybe you, I don't know, need Zoom premium account or Google Meet. You might need some specific things like voicemail drops that are quite popular in the US, if US is your target market, or use Loom for screen recording, CRM. Maybe you will go quick and dirty first, and you will use Excel spreadsheet for everything, but the time to get mature will come, and you will definitely need the CRM. The contact databases, because it's very hard to find something that you need on the internet, or some of the information will be hard to find, or it will not be credible. So it makes sense to have the contact databases. There are lots of them, like industry particular, or the general one, like ZoomInfo, for instance. Speaking about ZoomInfo, it's pricey, but it's still worth it. The tool for emailing, maybe you will need something like that. Again, depends on your needs, but it's high time to purchase the tool you need. We are moving to stage number 4. So we got the answer to the majority of the questions by this time. We have the financial model, and it still makes sense for us to proceed further. And it's important to have marketing in place. And I put a phrase here that I love very much, is that even though you know everything about your sphere and you can be sure that you will be able to give this thought to your potential clients, no, you still need to have certain materials at place to have the proper sales process. And here I speak about sales materials, or maybe you will need to invest. Oh, guys, it's getting darker. Sorry, I will. Yep. So maybe you will need the campaigns, to certain participation in campaigns or industry events. And we will get deeper into this in the next slide. Speaking about sales materials, the first important thing that you need to have is to have the pitch master deck. What do I mean by master deck? You need to create the huge deck containing whatever you might need at any point of time. In my experience, this deck contains usually up to 100 slides. In reality, like 50, 60, 70. It doesn't mean that you need to take the person on the call and show them everything, because this will be definitely a form of violence. So the master deck means that you can take any slide, whatever you like, and create out of it the very short and succinct sales material that you will be presenting during the calls. Also, what I want to say here, that sometimes when you talk to people, to the decision makers, they are not available on the call. I mean, the Zoom call. They cannot take a look at your materials and have the full picture of everything. Sometimes you think it is the Zoom call, but the person dials in and you understand that this person is literally driving the car. You can hear the noise on the background and lots of stuff. So old school elevator pitch, this is something that you need. You need to explain to your customer in 5 to 7 minutes, what are you about? You as a company, you as a product, what solution do you have? And also, I am the huge lover of scripts, but I hate lack of creativity. Script, this is not something that your sales team should, like robots, tell to people. It is not what you need. But script, this is something, this could be the full script of everything that you need to say, or this could be just some bullet points of something that you need to cover during the slide. So this is of the utmost important. And I will be also very detailed here, because you need to, this is facing the client, this is the main part here, because here is where money is made. Another good thing, to have the proper Q&A document. You will reach out to multiple clients. Multiple clients will have multiple questions. But when you will have 100 of sales calls in a row, you will understand that the questions are usually quite similar. So it is good to put whatever question your sales team faces in one document. Another good thing here is that this document is super useful when you have the new team member on board and they still do not know the product so well. So this Q&A can help them to understand the answers to the majority of the questions. Once you are done with the call, you need to send something to your customer to make the decision. This should be the one pager. It shouldn't be the short deck. This should be definitely a one pager, because sometimes it happens so that you're not talking to the decision maker. I mean, the ultimate point who will decide. There could be the assistants or someone else. And what do these people usually do? They come from this call, they remembered what they remembered, and you cannot control it. But what you can control is what do you send them as the handout material, because they can come to the manager if they are not the decision maker and say, lovely guys, I didn't quite well understood what they are about. This is the information that they passed to me. And at least one pager can help you very much with telling what you are about, what pain do you solve. So this is the very important thing, that what happens if the pitch deck that you shared maybe during the call was not helpful, or everything that your salesperson told was not helpful. One pager should be helpful, at least. Finally, you also need to compile the outreach materials, and I'm speaking about the email cadences, LinkedIn messages if you use this channel, and also the script for the calls or the voice drop. And finally, the LinkedIn profile. This is very important when your sales people are facing the clients. They should look properly. I mean, the way they look, the face, they should not be lying on pillow, you know, when presenting to someone. LinkedIn profile, this is the entry point. Maybe they will decide to talk to you further or not based on the salesperson LinkedIn profile. So what I mean here is that LinkedIn profile should look appropriately. And the second, what is important here, the LinkedIn profile should show what are you offering, should contain the main links, the same one-pager, the link to book a call, and so on. So this is the essential part here. And finally, it's time to start making money. The sales process. So it contains of three important things here: outreach, objections, performance control. And the thing here that you need to remember all the time is that you're not selling the product, you're selling the solution, the painkiller. This should be your focus, not like start the first slide with hello, we are that big, we are that amazing, we have that many people, we were founded in some year. But you need to tell them how will your product address their pain. What is important in outreach itself? The first, omni-channel approach. It means that you need to use as many channels of communication as possible. If during the market research, you remember that the majority of your people are in LinkedIn, some, I don't know, industry events, this and that, you have their email, they are using, you have their phone, for instance, use as many opportunities as possible. Another thing, and this is the statistics, that you need to have 5 to 7 touches minimum. And you need to have the aligned cadence of communication. For instance, step 1, call, step 2, email, step 3, LinkedIn message, and so on. Then focus on pains again. And last 2 things here, personalization, because check your mailbox. We're so tired of this hello, dear sir or madam, blah, blah, blah. So you need to really show that you as a salesperson did your homework and you know who you are reaching out to, at least. And also use creativity. There are multiple tools on the market that you can create the video or whatsoever. So you can exercise your creativity. You can create funny messages. Again, it depends on who's your audience in order not to sound ridiculous. Handling objections. I will cover this super quickly. We do not have enough time, and I can speak about B2B for ages. Then you need to listen, you need to show the empathy. If something is unclear, you need to clarify it and provide a thoughtful response. And to reassure. So basically, the aim of handling objections is that the point A, the customer had objection, point B, the customer doesn't have objection. This is your aim. And the performance control, you need to have very measurable KPIs, like the number of contracts signed, calls held, this or that, whatever you find useful. And this is extremely useful because it can ultimately tell you how you do in this sphere. You need to have certain rules. In my team, for instance, it was like we answer once we receive the incoming request, we answer within 24 hours, and it's absolutely its maximum. But it's better to have it less than in 12 hours, for instance. It is also good for you as the product manager or sales manager or someone to be shadowing on the calls where the sales process is happening, to make sure that your sales rep is doing the job correctly. And also you need to have inside your team regular stand-ups. And here is the one tip for you that I would like to share is to have these 3 MITs. What does it mean? Most important things. In order not to make a boring status check out of your stand-up, just ask your people in the team, not only salespeople, just everyone. This is the practice that you can use everywhere, to share 3 most important things that they want to bring up during the stand-ups. And finally, team coaching, because everyone needs to improve. We need to stay sharp on our soul and proceed further with the sales process. Then customer success. Here comes tech implementations, analytic dashboards, enrollment reporting, and finally, case study. You have certain metrics, and I want to tell you how you can influence them, how can you improve them. If we speak about B2B2C market, the first important metric, and I believe it is whatever industry you are in, this is the engagement. And how can you influence the proper engagement, that your product is really being used is to have the proper onboarding, like intro sessions, the handouts, one-pagers. Maybe also, if we speak about the US, there could be a lunch and learn session where you can show to the end users everything you have, how to use it, and all the stuff. And also be super fast in troubleshooting, because when people see the problem, they're getting mad, and they will be super fast to leave the 1-star review on, say, Trustpilot, for instance. And also you need to think about retention. In the industry I work in, for instance, the retention is around 80%. So I mean that 80% of clients becoming returning clients, but you still need to show the proper reporting to the decision makers. And also these materials, the metrics and the reporting will help you to create the case study for you, because you can utilize this in any further activities that you have. Next time when you have 5 clients, you have 5 case studies that you can say, I worked with this, they trusted us. So for sure, this is the power of reviews that you can utilize, and it depends on you whether you will do this homework while you have the acting contract. And the bonus part here is the US mentality deep dive. Lena told me that the majority of you think about the US market as the key market here, and I have something to share, because I'm not the representative of the US mentality, and I guess the fraction of you here, you also do not have that vast experience in talking to the US people, and I want to share with you some context and some nuances. First, I want to introduce you your Bible. This is the reference book if you work in multicultural environments. Please read it, all of you. This it's not even a recommendation, it's a must. And Erin Meyer, this amazing woman, so she has the book itself, and she also has the country mapping tool. And by doing this and reading the book, you will understand the differences. Because when it comes to negotiations with someone, my lovely communication, that is the key here, you need to think and adjust to the culture you want to work with. So the communication culture can be of 2 types, the low context and high context. Low context, basically, it's the US. It means that people are extremely transparent. They are very clear. They're very direct in communication. So it means that if you work with the US people, you need to be very concise, and you need to bring difficult issues to very simple bite-sized points. Speaking about high context, like Japan, for instance, you need to know their culture in depth, and it might be very difficult. But as long as we're speaking about the US, it's better. And one tip, if you have the multicultural environment around you, it is always good to go low context, because say what you mean what you say. This is basically should be your motto for communication with the US people, and like overall. If you do not know any special, I don't know, slang words in Korean language, which I doubt you know, then the persuading culture can be again of 2 types, concept first and application first. And I will point your attention to the application first. Because I'm, for instance, the representative of the concept first. And as you see, I showed you the concept, like we need to start with the why, reflection, this and that and that. Speaking about the US culture, when you are showing your product, you need to show your product. You do not need to do the foreplay and all the stuff coming from the beginning of the universe. You need to get straight to the point. And speaking about application first, if you have the app, go and show the app during the sales presentation, for instance. You can use it, and this knowledge will help you understand this culture better. And last but not least is the evaluating culture. So direct negative feedback and indirect negative feedback. I would say that US is somewhere in between, but closer to indirect negative feedback. You can open up your LinkedIn feed right now, and you will take a look at multiple poems like I'm thrilled to announce, I'm amazed, and all this stuff. But the bottom line here is when they say I'm thrilled, it doesn't mean that they are really thrilled. They might be, maybe they are not thrilled at all. So that's why it's very important for you to understand this culture, because sometimes they can come back to you and say, oh, this is the amazing opportunity. I really love it, but it means never write to me again. So if US is your key culture, you need to filter out this fluff and try to understand the real meaning and to read the ad, read between the lines. Thank you. I'm done. I'm done. We have 9 minutes left. Do you have any questions? Lena, should I open the chat and take a look at them?
Yeah, we have at least one there.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more for you about the last part, but I assume we will get more. So can you read them by yourself?
Sure. Hello, Anna. Hello, Natalia. Thank you for sharing your B2B knowledge. What strategies and type of value worked for Flo in B2B based on your experience? If you could share, that would be great and helpful. For sure. The common approach here is that how will you save the money for your B2B clients? For instance, you need to find something that is very typical in your product to tell them that you spend on the user, for instance, $50, but you receive $100 value, or maybe $1,000 value. My experience here is very health specific. So I can say that, again, without any further details, is that we will give you, the end user the knowledge that will help them, for instance, go less to the doctors because they will get to know more about what is happening with the signals of their body through our app. And we counted this in form of money and tell them that the ROI is, say, I don't know, 10x, for instance. Like you invest 50, but you have 10 times more, inevitably. Hope it helps.
It's impressive. And then
No question, is it a good or bad sign? No questions. Is it a good or bad sign, Lena?
I don't know. It depends on how we look at it. But actually, I have a question. It's not about the product, it's about the last part about cultural differences. So I saw that you included Belarus in high culture, something like high context.
High context.
Yeah. Can you please elaborate on that? Because it was in the same list with Saudi Arabia and many other countries.
Yeah, of course, gladly. So, for instance, and in this book that should become your Bible, is there is the amazing example about Japanese culture. There is the phone call. The Japanese manager is calling the Japanese colleague and saying on Sunday. So it's the weekend, and the manager asks, "Hello, how is your day going?" And the person answers, it's very good. My wife has birthday today. And the manager says, okay, thank you so much for this information. The call ends. So the question was, like, what was this conversation about? And what did the manager, the manager mention? And what did the employee do in the very end? So, of course, if the manager is calling you on Sunday, it means that something urgent has happened. And it's very clear that the person said that I have the family celebration. So it means like my family is on the first place for sure. Why should I go? And this is like the how to say no without saying no. But in reality, in Japan culture, the correct answer for this small conversation will be that the person, the employee, went to work because it was very important. And here comes this context that I personally cannot understand at all. And you need to be in this context. You need to understand, say, Japanese culture, Saudi Arabian culture, to read between the lines, because sometimes they deny saying no, and you need to understand what they mean. Oh, we have more questions here.
Yeah.
Natalia asked question. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Did that offer work? I didn't quite get what you mean by this offer, because generally the offer worked. Speaking about the overall B2B sector, this is something that we are still continue developing, seeing the offerings on the market. So it's like the never-ending work, guys. Another question, how to get to big corporates as a pre-seed startup? They told that you are too risky to finalize deal. Input can be bigger than output for them. Sure. So maybe sometimes you can realize that being the pre-seed startup, it's too early for you to join big corporates because they will be using someone who will be less risky. And I don't want to give you false expectations, telling like, I don't know, make your one-pager amazing. It will not work because ultimately, if you cannot provide the certain data that they will need, you will fail in this situation. And that's why usually for lots of businesses, and again, speaking about Flo, for a long time, for many years, we've been to the B2C market, and only many years after then, we did small baby steps to the B2B market, and we are still not there. It's the, as I mentioned, the never-ending process. Hope it helps. Sorry if you were waiting for a different answer. Then Sophie, thank you for the exciting input. You're welcome. How large is an average sales team in startup scale-ups? On average, how long does the sales called acquisition, meetings, closing, retention? It depends on who you are reaching out to. If you're reaching out to, again, if you're just starting this process, it doesn't make sense to go to jumbo companies and try to enter them. You will fail. It makes sense to reach out to small, mid-sized companies. If we're speaking about mid-sized companies, the sales cycle is around from 3 to 8 months, based on my experience in my industry. And speaking about the sales team, this could be, you can start with 1 or 2 people, because basically you need the SDR, sales development representative, the person who will be creating the contacts for the salesperson to do the outreach, and you need someone who is helping on the customer success. Depending on how fast you want to scale, if you're okay to start quick and dirty, you can find one superhero who will be having all these roles in one, but it will be hard to find this person. At least it should be 3 people. At least maybe 2 if you do not have a resource for the SDR. So at least salesperson and customer success person. Hope it helps. How do you convince the decision maker when you are an early stage startup? This is the similar question that I have already answered. You need, during the stage of market research, you will understand what is the driver for them to say yes to you. And what you need to do basically is to have everything that will help them to say yes. And all the nuances can be industry specific. Then, can anyone be taught to write personalized emails, or you have to filter while hiring? Because not everyone can do it. Curious about your thoughts. I didn't get the question. Can anyone be taught to write personalized emails? Yes. So when you hire the person, first answering your question, yes, everyone can be taught if they are sane. It is possible when you hire someone, do the proper test task and ask them to create the email that they will use for reach out. And if you see that in this test task, it is very dear Sarah, madam, and all the stuff, and it looks very boring, or it lacks structure, then it means that you should not take this person on board. And the good thing here is basically, because the problem here is that the people can do chat GPT, internet, and all the stuff, ask their sales people, friends to help them. The good thing is to do this live when you have the interview. just to give very small context and ask them for top 5 things on how to be creative in the messaging and how to personalize them. Hope it helps. Then, what are the channels for reaching out to corporates that are not very actively used? Not actively used. For a health startup, where can you access this market research? I didn't get the second question. Speaking about the first one, that are not actively used. Some of the events that we participated in were not that effective, that we saw sponsorship can be really useless because sometimes they can just print your brand name somewhere on the photo zone and it will not bring you clients for sure. Speaking about industry I work in, it depends on your industry. There is no one size fits all. What Flo sold to the business? Data or something else? We are not selling data to anyone, and this is a very important point. We are selling value. We are closing the pains. So something like that. And how do you understand what people need and address it in case of, let's say, you want to sell another e-commerce SaaS and they already have one and it's just 5% of their revenue? Again, do the proper market research and know what is important. Conduct the interviews with the decision makers and they will tell you what is important. And usually, from what I see, money is the key thing here. Even if it's just 5% of their revenue and you can provide the proper ROI backed with some proper data, again, not with gut feeling of yours or someone else, this will be the driver for success. Maybe your e-commerce SaaS will help them in processes. Without context, it's very difficult to provide the proper answer. So I am sorry for being shallow here. Thank you. Thank you very much too. Personalized email. I mean personalized emails, not ChatGPT emails. Got you, Yuka. So it makes sense to do this right away on the interview that you have, and you will see whether it's ChatGPT. Come on, ChatGPT. It's very easy visible. Apart from LinkedIn, which other channels can we choose? Depending on your industry. During the market research stage, being the most important one here, you need to know where your clients are. For sure, this could be LinkedIn. Maybe there could be some groups where maybe there are some newsletters that all of them read and you need to appear in this newsletter. Maybe there are some events. Lots of them are there. Half of them are useless, but this is something that you can filter out during the proper research. Again, talk to the decision maker and ask them how do they know about new tools, how do they onboard them. It will give you lots of insight. Next question: what are your favorite lead gen channels? For example, cold outreach, ads, conferences, etc. This will be my personal opinion, cold outreach, because this is something that you can properly control. Because ads, speaking about the ads on Meta or ads on Google, they are not that pinpoint. With cold outreach, you can choose who you are reaching out to. And if you do the proper homework, not you, but your sales team, you will be making this cold outreach warm outreach. Conferences, again, it depends. If this is the conference where maybe some of you have been there, like, you're going to the conference and the majority of people come in here to take some free stuff and all the stuff. There are lots of people, unfortunately, of this kind during the conferences. But if you know that your client to be will be there, it makes sense for you to be there. But again, what kind of approach will you use? Will be you standing near your booth and keeping silence, or you will be actively communicating with someone? Maybe it makes sense, speaking about the conferences, for you to make sure that you have the speaking event opportunity, and you will be able to reach out to multiple clients of yours. So it depends. But for me, my favorite is cold outreach. Hectic, nasty, but working. We are done. Thank you very much for all your lovely questions. Again, I can talk about this for eternity if you will not stop me.